child true.
Yeah.
I want that America for people. Not necessarily utopia, because I think every book that's ever been written about that, there's always something that goes wrong. I don't know where we're going in this human experiment or this American experiment that we're going, but we've got to progress towards more rights and hope for folks, because there's the idea that we're taking care of our most vulnerable is what shows a successful society in general. Like, how you treat your most vulnerable is how successful, and how longevity, and also investing in infrastructure. I mean, there's a lot
of things that
stuff we need to fix, and stop, wasting money on stuff.
Social issues. Yeah. I mean, we just got done with a special session here in Nebraska about property tax relief, because they wasted almost an entire year of the legislative session to prohibit the 200 kids who receive gender affirming care from being able to get it. And so it tied up everything, and that's just not natural, and that's just not right. But I do have hope for the future, and you being patriotic, I am also. My first night at the DNC, I wore a flag dress.
The Olympics also helped too, though. I'm not gonna lie. Like, seeing us win first, and then having the DNC, I was like, I caught myself being like, "Yeah, America!" And then I'm like, wow,
and we had a lot of USA placards. We had a lot of flags. It was a very patriotic experience.
Yeah. And I don't know. It's this scary, like, maybe it's hope, maybe it's just great marketing, maybe it's this.
It is hope.
But I do know that
it is hope.
A Trump, presidency for so many different communities
would be disastrous.
Would I mean, because my big focus too is the Supreme Court. So from my understanding, we've got some justices that are going to be retiring. So if Kamala gets in, she's going to be appointing new justices, correct? Which would,
yes,
we would be able to kind of balance us out. And I think we'd actually be at 4-2, I think, at that point, with how many were, I could be misquoting the numbers. It's getting late for me, but
it's a 5-4 kind of break right now, but it's not a solid 5-4, because Gorsuch is actually somebody who does come over to the other side. He's the one who wrote the opinion on the effect of Title VII and whether you could discriminate against employees on the basis of their being gay or being trans. And he's the one who wrote the opinion on that. So I am kind of hopeful. I've been to the Supreme Court twice in the last 2 years. 2 years ago in December, I was sworn in along with a group of 10 other trans lawyers as the first group of lawyers from the Trans Bar Association to be group admitted. Last year, I was able to sponsor 10 more. I don't think we're going to have enough to be able to do our small group ceremony this year, but I am planning on being there when they hold the oral argument on the Scrimeti case out of Tennessee, on the gender-affirming care bans and what standard of review they use in looking at that. Is it strict scrutiny? Is it intermediate scrutiny, or is it just a rational basis? And I'm, they've seen me stand in front of them a couple times. Amy Comey Barrett has looked at me for 20 minutes on 2 separate occasions and smiled at me. And I think I'm a pretty memorable face. I don't think at 6'2", I'm somebody that she would probably remember. I want her to see me in there when they're arguing this case. To let them know that there are real trans people that this affects.
Yeah, because I mean, from what it looks like strategically, is that they're using the kids as the roadmap to basically end up with adults, which it already sounds like they're already doing that.
So they've publicly stated that. Terry Schilling has said that we're coming after kids because it's a little bit easier, but make no mistake about it, we're coming after everybody.
Like, oh my God, your kid's in danger, and this, which something that I found again from TikTok, but it's great because I love how much information you can actually get on there. The thing is, you got to learn how to filter it, because some of it's all But the most gender-affirming surgeries actually go to cisgender boys for top surgery.
The
Yeah.
Glastomy or whatever. I know parents who've had kids that have had to have
the crazy thing is they're going to be affecting cisgender boys with gender-affirming surgery, not realizing again the ripple effects of the laws that they're creating.
Although no, that will be excluded because it's not changing from one gender. It's gender-affirming surgery for the gender that they're born in. So that's okay.
Well, what
makes
about
no
intersex
sense.
folks come in then still? Like, there's going to be such a...
Oh, it's already a mess.
Oh my God. It's going to be just a mess for doctors. We're in insurance getting approval when it's already hard enough as it is. Even with all the progress that we've made as a community, you still get, 3 rejection letters, and the 4th one you finally get accepted. I just wish the ideology that it's so easy to be trans and so easy to get these surgeries and so this, that, and the other, those cases that people find and fly the 4 people around the country to say the same story to Congress over and over again. It's just not true. The most of the trans people that I know either wait a very long time for them to get their surgeries, or if they get their surgeries, it's through, means of sometimes sex work, sometimes, it's like survival work for them to be able to get safely in society. And there's not this just like, oh, let's just all go to the McDonald's and everybody just becomes trans because they ate a Big Mac. Like it's
let's see, can I get a forehead reduction?
I mean, I wish
a nasal job and a boob job. I'll take that off of column 1. It doesn't happen.
No, it doesn't. But also, if it did happen, my thing is like, here's another flip side too. Like, why are these politicians so worried? Like, are you afraid that like you want to transition? And like, if it was that easy for you, like you got to keep the barriers for yourself. Like, no,
it's like, Jim, if you don't want boobs, you don't have to get boobs. Okay.
Yeah. Like
but I want them.
I don't understand the need to really just police trans people, and it just seems like this political card that people have gone, trans people, they're the new thing that we can use that's shiny and distracting, because people have never seen trans people in this way before, and they're used politically so much that, I mean, we just had a stock market crash. We had this, we had that, none of those things get as much attention as trans people. And I'm sorry, there's not that many trans people in the world. Yes, there's more young people that have come out through transition because of social media exposing them to who they are through learning the language finally, which that's all it is, because trans people will always be trans people.
We've always been here. It's just we didn't have the language.
We didn't have the language,
and we didn't have the acceptance. When I came out to my kids, I spoke with them and I said, "You guys are extremely lucky." And they go, "Why, Dad?" And I'm like, "Well, if the information that exists today existed when I was a kid, if the technology that exists now existed when I was a kid, if the acceptance that exists now that existed back when I was your age, y'all wouldn't be here." Because I would have, if I had known enough, I could have done it. I would have transitioned as a kid. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It would have been, great. I wish I had the fortitude even back then to even recognize it, but there was a large part where I wasn't even recognizing it. Yeah.
No, I mean, I even technically transitioned young, because I'm 35 now, but I transitioned at 17, 18 years old, and even then I felt like I could even have transitioned younger. I mean, I had to deal with huge breasts, and that's not something a boy wanted to deal with, and I like there was a lot of what I missed out on as a kid because of that even I had to later on catch up on things, and I still struggle. And it's beautiful to see the trans kids come out safely, and it's nice to know that
it's nice to watch them grow up as themselves, something that we never got a chance to
in a way that it's like, oh my God, you're actually like, you're getting straight A's in school, you're attending school, you're taking care of yourself, you have a friend group, you're doing things, you have business idea. I don't know, like kids getting to be kids fully themselves safely, because again, trans people have always existed, will always exist. It's just we've now got the language to explain who we are, which we even had the language even previously with, Magnus Hirschfeld's whole burning of the library that happened. We've had the research time and time again, and it's been ripped away from us because trans people, to a degree, I feel, are sacred in some ways. To be able to be a trans person and basically do in the womb, outside of the womb, what you can do to your body, and almost prove that men and women in some way, shape, or form are exactly the same. It's there's differences in this, that, and the other, but at the end of the day, we're all human.